Right, we are here with the tier list of Elden Ring bosses. I've never done one of these before, but I figured since I just finished the game, I may as well do it. Might be fun. So I Google searched, and I found this one that seems to have, like, I just glanced over and it appears to have pretty much every boss type. Some of these I don't know if I've seen, or if I did, I might not have even remembered them, so it's going to be hard to rank some of these. But I did do the whole game. If there's any other ones out, any other tier lists out there, I mean, I'm sure there are on this site, but this one caught my eye at first glance, especially since it has the names of the bosses on them. So I'm probably gonna have to start doing this. Like I'm looking at this and I'm like, who's Battle Mage Hughes? Because I just did so much in this game, I do not remember certain things now. Is the background music okay? Is it not too loud, or do I need to turn it down? Streaming this on Twitch, so, you know, asking the audience. Could be louder? Okay, thanks for the input. Let's try there. Because that was I just played the opening, the soundtrack. I'm just playing the soundtrack in another tab. So it's gonna be a lot of the atmospheric stuff for a bit. Alright, well, guess we might as well try this, and if there are bosses, start this out, and if there are any bosses that I do not recall, I am gonna look them up. For example, Battle Mage Hughes, who is that? I fought him and I forgot his name. I am so sorry. Let's try search. Because there could be some bosses here that I just simply do not remember. Let's see, Battle Mage Hughes. Celia Everjail. Celia Everjail? Did I... Huh. North of Celia Town. Okay, I never fought this guy. I never found his Everjail. Man, that just shows how much this game actually hides from you. So, full disclaimer. I either A may... Hey, Crimson Dice. I literally am just starting. Also, I was like washing my face this morning and I put my hair up, and as I was trying to take it out, I was like, oh, actually, I like it here. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I kind of am having America look. You know? Kind of looking like America. So yeah, Battle Mage Hughes. I actually never found his Everjail, so I can't put him on the list, unfortunately. Beast of Farum Azula. Who's that? I'm trying to look at this picture. What's the Beast of Farum Azula? I'm so sorry, guys, that I am only just now being like, who are some of these? These are just all public, so, you know. Beast Farum Azula. Beast Man of Farum Azula is in Dragon Barrow Cave. Oh, okay. Groveside Cave. Yes, okay, I did fight this. Oh yeah, yeah. Alright. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. It's one of the early ones you can find in Limgrave, yeah. It's a Beastman of Farum Azula. Like, not a crazy boss, a good introduction. You know, pretty predictable move sets. You can get a good amount of distance from them. And I will move some of these around as I go, because I'm going to go with my gut feeling first. Oh, I look kind of pixelated. Oh well. I'm using just my webcam on my laptop, so, you know, whatever. And I did shrink it, so it's like I would think that the quality would be fine. Oh well. Bell-bearing hunter. Oh yeah, I did indeed find one of these guys. I ran into one when I was, uh, I ran into one first at one of the merchant shacks, on your way to the capital, and then I died to him, but I found another and beat him at the Church of Vows. This guy is basically the Briar Knight, or whatever his name was, moveset, so kind of annoying. Um, Long range. I kind of put in either C or D because it's like, it's just annoying and long range, but then not super memorable because you already fight like the actual named dude in the shaded castle, you know? Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's because of the quality. That's fine for me. Yeah, I don't think this content needs a 4K reso. Yeah, I keep my streams at super low quality, so my recording for YouTube is gonna at least look better. Or at least be at 720. But for streaming, I'm just like I try to keep it low for Twitch because my internet upload speed. I'm just gonna put him at C for now, and again, I'll move him around later. I change my mind. Borealis, the freezing fog. Oh yes, one of a cajillion different dragon bosses. I remember this guy. Um, Took me a few tries. I did use my mimic tier at one point because I was just like, I'm sick and tired of these dragon fights, you know. They do each have their own different moveset. So it's just a generic dragon but with ice powers and some unique moves that the other dragons do not have. I'll just, can I, there. I'll just put it high C at the moment because, you know, not too much to say about. Cemetery Shade, I'm tempted to just put an F right away out of my gut instinct because those guys are so annoying. When they, I mean, as you fight more of them, you get better at dodging their attacks, but just so annoying. I'm just gonna go put in F, gut. Gut. Oh, Crystallians, yep. Top of F, no, bottom of F, just the worst. I hate these. I hate these. I know exactly where I rank them and I hate them. Especially the one with the spear who just goes boom, 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 like over, and I'm just like, stop. Oh, they're so annoying. I mean, yeah, once you break their armor, fine, but the move sets and the fact that you can't stagger, you can't like interrupt their attacks, and the noises and the character design and the three you fight in that Celian crystal cave that are also inflict scarlet rot on you, no, F tier, you know. um Clean Rot Knight. Clean Rot Knights feel like a very fair boss and normal enemy, and they have a cool design, you know. And as long as you can avoid the charge attack that impales you and gives you Scarlet Rot, they're perfectly fine. Like, you fight. It's like, I would put it in A, but I think I'd put it in B just because they're also a normal enemy type. You're more likely to first find them as a normal enemy before you encounter them as a boss. We got Commander Niall, who was at Castle Sol. He was only annoying because of his AoE and the fact that he had the two summons. So I used my Mimic tier on that guy just to divvy up the attention of the ads. you know, we split them up evenly almost. Like I killed one of his summons and my mimic tier took care of the others. So then it was all fair from there on. Um, so he was tougher than the guy you fight in the Heart of Aeonia, that's for sure. Because he had more move sets, he had lightning and he had lightning attacks, something else. Plus he had the two summons that were like annoying because one summon was the dual wielding sword guy who just is very merciless. But other than that, he didn't feel super special, but for now I'm gonna put him at the top of C. If I can move it. Come on, let me move it. There we go. Top of C for now, because it's like, whatever. Big hammer works nicely on Crystallians. Yeah, I had to switch to a weapon other than my sword when I fought some of those. Black Blade Kindred, he's the one that you have to fight when you go um, on your way towards the mountaintops of the giants. You could, I think, theoretically run past him, but he has the same moveset as any other gargoyle. Um, I don't remember anything different about him. Gargoyles are just kind of meh. Meow. Nothing to write home about. I think I might have first tried him, as I was like, oh god, I had to endure the valiant gargoyles. I'm just gonna get this over with. So for now, I'm just gonna rank him there. Black Knife Assassins. These guys are annoying as hell when they can get a backstab on you. They definitely feel like a Bloodborne type of enemy. Gargoyles D. Yeah, seriously. Yeah, Black Knife Assassins, you have to treat them like a Bloodborne enemy, which can be difficult if you are a slow, tanky boy like my character was for the whole second, for maybe the second half of the game. And if they got their backstab on you, which can happen at any time, like you could be dodging and trying to lock on and face them, they still get a backstab on you. So just kind of meh, you know. I'll do high D though. Better than the gargoyles for now. Bloodhound Knight Darawil. Okay, that's one of the very, very first ever jails you get. He was a neat little... Again, he feels like a Bloodborne enemy. How quickly he moved. He has a cool design and gives you the Bloodhound's Fang, which helped carry me through the game for a long, long time until I decided to switch to big, beefier, colossal weapons and stuff. Until I found the Great Sword, and I was like, I'm gonna have this be my character's sword for the rest of the game. So he was actually, you know, pretty neat. I think just for the uniqueness of him, I'll make him be above the Clean Rot Knights. Because you do find some as normal enemies later in the game, such as on your way to the prison town, the prison town that's inside uh, the Volcano Manor. But by then, it's like it's nothing. False Carrion Knight. Okay, I think that's the giant that you fight in the Ever Jail. Is that the Kuko's Ever? Is that the Kuko's Ever Jail one? I think that is. Yeah. He's basically just a giant with a giant sword and uses magic. So nothing super special, you know. Like magic adds a bit of a interesting bit to it, but nothing really special. And Commander O'Neill was my very first. Commander O'Neill was basically Commander Nial's move set, but a lot weaker. But he did summon. He summons more summons, but they are little tiny archers. It's like a bunch of small dudes that you can take out. Assassin at least C. Yeah, I mean, I'm on the fence. It's just, it's hard to... I'm also making my gut reactions and how I felt fighting the enemy, you know? Yeah, Bloodhound Knight gives a really good weapon. So Commander O'Neill is basically a stripped down Niall. And I thought when I fought him, I thought it was pretty cool that, you know, he's one of the only few enemies. He and Niall are the only two that really like speak in their fight. Because they're like, you can hear him giving orders to the soldiers he's summoning. But I fought him entirely on horseback. I just did run in, get a hit, dash away. Run in, get a hit, dash away. Pretty easy. So he definitely is much lower rank than Niall. He was just kind of meh. Torrent made it way too easy. I'll put him above Blackblade Kindred just because he was the first boss I encountered where he's actually like talking, like you hear him shouting orders. So I was kind of like, oh, that's cool. I mean, actually, I may put it above Carrion Knight. It's just a giant with a magic sword. Crucible Knights are high F rank. Just because the only way you can really effectively fight against them, like get any certainty with attacks, is if you parry them, but you have to be good with parries. I did beat the one that was in the Everjail, but that was like way later. It still was a pain. Crucible Knights are just so tanky. They're just not fun to fight. They have an awesome design, but they're not fun. You have to be a parry god. That is my impression. Decane Izyk's basically just another dragon, except with... He's the one on the bridge. Actually, I think I might swap these two. The only reason why some of these are ranking really low is because they're just reskins of enemies you've already fought. Actually, I'll put I don't know. I'm on the fence about where I want to put a ton of these dragons because a lot of them are kind of just reskins. Demi-Human Queen, you got Margot and Maggie. I think that's just looping together two of very similar ones that you fight at two different times. One I think was in a cave and the other was in the open world where you find, was it Sorcerer Lusat or something? They are really unique bosses. Not difficult at all. Oh, I need to close up my Battle.net so we don't get those alerts when my Battle.net friends log into World of Warcraft. So yeah, the Demi-Human Queens, they weren't hard at all, but they were really interesting at least. You know, like they're trying to use magic and then they just resort to just bashing you with their weapons because, you know, fuck magic. They weren't all that impressive. But at least it was an interesting concept, but just easy to fight, you know. Demi-Human Chief, that's the boss from the cave I think that's the boss you fight in the cave that Bach was trying to get his sewing kit out of. So again, not a crazy fight. You know, pretty simple. Just meh. Nothing to write home about. Divine Bridge Golem. And that's probably the one that trap chest takes you to. And this would be lumping together all the different golems. They are not... Once you learn what to do about them, and like jump attacks and charge attacks on their weak spots helps a lot. They're not all that hard, but they are pretty cool, you know? Like, they're very simple, but I think that they were, you know, they were pretty cool to see when you first find one. It's pretty cool. They're simple, but the only reason why I'm putting it up highly is because of the impact it made on me when I saw my first one. I was like, oh man, this is a cool design, you know. Yeah, so we have to go. Okay, there are going to be some major bosses coming up. I have nothing wrong with this order that this automatically is in because it's giving some nice variety. So now we got Dragonkin Soldier of Noxtella. That guy was not too terribly difficult as long as I tried to stay like at his legs. I think I might have taken just a few tries to kill him. But like, you know, it was a pretty interesting fight for sure. Yeah, and at the moment, the only reason why I put Borealis above Decaying Izix is because at least Borealis had some unique moves that were only unique to him. Dragonkin, Soldier, put about there. Like, very unique design. You only find a few of them in the world. Ooh, Erdtree Avatar. I gotta say, this may be controversial, but I think I want to put it either in high B or low A because they, although they're predictable, and there's only two different variations of them, the normal one and the rot one, they felt like a completely fair fight. Like, and they taught you how to do good rolls and when to run away and stuff, and they felt like they were the, like, Asylum Demon in Dark Souls. Like, you could say that makes it lazy, but I don't know. I actually had fun fighting them. I went out of my way to actually kill every non-boss version of it I found, too. Which is saying something, because usually if I find a non-boss version of any of these running around, I'm like, no, I don't have the time, goodbye. I actually had fun fighting them. Hello, Guns of the Helghast. Yeah, Moog S tier OE Riot. Yeah, we'll get there. He's like, he's away. He's down here, so we'll get there. Erdtree Burial Watchdog. Now again, these guys are also an extremely easy enemy, but their design and the way they move, like their animation, is just so unique. Like, hate me for it. I'm putting them in B rank because they made an impression on me. Their designs, and the way they move, it really feels like it is a statue that's come to life. And it was the most interesting, like, you know, mini boss. Like, I think just on pure creativity and uniqueness, I'm putting it up high. Esgar, Priest of Blood. Did I ever fight that guy? I have to go to the wiki to be finding some of these. Because again, there's just been so many enemies, so many catacombs, so many caves. Stuff I've probably missed. So I need to look these up. Alright, where is he? Esgar, Priest of Blood. I want to say I did fight him. He's in the Lanedale Catacombs. So I did fight him. Let's see, and what was his moveset? There's so much. He did bleed. Human type enemy. Yeah, I definitely fought him. Just don't remember much. At first, cat statues were really hard to read. Yeah, I agree. And then after that, just like the Erdtree avatars, it's like, alright. There even was one point where I put my summon sign down to help with an Erdtree avatar in Liurnia, because I was like, oh, I got this, you know? So I wanted to help some people. So Esgar, Priest of Blood, that's the thing. I looked him up and I'm like, I did fight him. I know I fought him, but I do not remember him at all. So I'm just gonna put him in low D. And like Battle Mage Hughes, I don't think I ever found his Everjail, so I can't rank him. I just can't. Falling Star Beast. Oh boy. Those frickin' things. They were annoying as hell. But they did have a cool design and their music makes me feel so unsettled. Like the music really feels like something out of space. It's got some synth bit in it. It's a very uneven. I'm not a musician at all, so correct me if I'm wrong with these words, but like it has a very uneven meter, and then combine that with the kind of metallic, screeching, weird, stony metal sounds that the boss's actual attacks do. It made an impression. It was it was tough to fight, you know, as like a physical DPS user because I had to like try to hit his head, but then the attacks he did was just annoying. But you know, I'm putting it high and C right now just because, again, a super, super unique boss. And I know this is different than the full-grown Star Beast that you find in Mount Gilmere. Oh, Fell Twins, yep, I remember those. Try to get to the Divine Tower, and then a bunch of darkness envelops you, and then surprise! Surprise boss fight, and you're clearly either there meant to be super weak or you are just super OP, so it's not even an issue, so eh, you know. Interesting implications. They were two Omen twins, but it's like I don't know. Big cow. I thought of these more as like yeah, like a bull, scorpion, praying mantis, ant kind of buggy thing. Dragon Kid Soldier is basically a reskin, a lesser copy of the Dragonkin Soldier of Noxtella, so yeah, you know, nothing interesting. Dragon Lord Placid Sax. Oh my goodness. He's going into A tier because although his boss run was very frustrating because if you didn't drop off at just the right point, you would completely miss the spot you had to drop onto. But otherwise, this boss, um, at first I was really frustrated with not being able to read like its move sets and stuff, but it became easier over time. And I did use my mimic tier just so not all the heat was just on me because there's just so much AoE and everything. But the reason why I rank him so high is because A, he has a different design than some other dragons because of the two heads and other little bits about his design. The music, I love the music, especially because there were two notes in his boss theme that sound like straight out of Daenerys's theme song, so my brain kept trying to like complete her song. Every time I heard those two notes, I then had the rest of the song play in my head. And also had some really like that move where everything goes completely silent and you have to run away, and then this giant like nuclear explosion happens. Like just a visually impressive boss fight that felt different than so many of the other dragon fights, and the fact that he's the dragon lord and you seem to kind of almost go back in time to fight him, and then the music. I'm ranking him high. He's probably the highest on my list for the dragons, honestly. He's the one who made the most impression to me, and he's a late game boss. Huge two-headed chicken, easy A tier. Elden Beast. Oh boy. Elden Beast. This one's complicated because I love the music. I love the arena. I love the lore implications of this thing. But it suffers as being a large From Software boss, where there's a lot of sometimes if you're like right up on its butt trying to attack it because that's the safe spot, you know, even if you're not locked on, it's so hard to tell what it's going to do. Now, of course, when it swims away and you have to run to it, then you can easily tell which moves it's going to do as you're trying to make your way to it. So this one's complicated. Like, kind of want to just put it here in high B just because of the music and the environment and it being the finale and such a stark contrast to the Radigan fight that happens right before. And it's very cool that it also the only reason why I would like want to knock it down is like, A, sometimes it could be hard to read if you're just right up on its butt. And B, it did feel kind of like somewhat of a copy of the Divine Dragon from Sekiro, but that boss fight was also just so cool. And I'm a sucker for just that kind of that fight was just cool from an aesthetic point of view and everything, and so I can't really hate on that. Like, I'm like, okay, that's an influence that I'm actually okay with. Because that was a fun fight in Sekiro. Elemer of the Briar, so that's basically, um... Hey, do I want to move any of these around? I don't know. Elemer of the Briar is... That arena is just so small. That's the only issue, is it's really, really small. And when he does, like, the far-reaching, like, magic blade attacks, it can be really, really tricky, so you kind of almost have to use a mimic, like a spirit summon to keep him off of you, so... But he's definitely higher than Bell-Bearing Hunter, which I could knock down, I don't know. The D tier is all just kind of like... Like, like I don't hate these enemies, but there's more interesting ones out there, you know what I mean? You're stuck on Malenia? Yeah, I was stuck on her for a few days. Fia's champion. Oh yeah, when you finally get to the Prince of Death's little chamber, for lack of a better word, after you continued her quest line, and then all these different NPCs get summoned that you have to fight against. With Lionel, I believe, being the only like really unique named character who's there, and you can get his armor later, or you get his armor from this. I don't remember. That was just like basically a, kind of like playing against other players kind of feel to it. Like, nothing really crazy. Like, it was interesting that those were all Fia's champions, but, yeah. Next we got Fire Giant. Big ol' mandatory boss. Not the hardest enemy. It still took me a few tries because the worst part was phase 2, where his hitbox, or where you are able to hit him, changes. Because in the first phase, his weak spot is his hurt leg. The second phase, you only have so many openings. You know? Like, I don't know. Like, again, also interesting from a lore perspective. You get to summon Alexander for that fight. And actually, he helped me get the killing blow because, like, the giant rolled away and Alexander was right on him, and so he got him before I could even reach the fire giant. So not a crazy boss. Might want to move around these dragons just because they're all just dragons, you know. Flying Dragon Agil, the first dragon you're probably going to find in the game. So, I don't know. I'm just very conflicted on these dragons. Like, I'm ranking Agil above the other two just because he's the first one. He's your first introduction to dragons if you're playing the game in the order things are meant to go. So, he's kind of the, here's how our dragons work. You know, very simple. Like, the OG. Yeah, cool looking and epic, but not as epic as Radahn. Oh yeah, don't get me started on Radahn. Now we got, oh, the full-grown Falling Star Beast. So much more annoying, but cooler than Falling Star Beast. Like, then he has, like, his eyeball and a lot more to him, so... Even though he was annoying to fight, it's like, he's cooler than Falling Star Beast because he's full grown, so he's automatically gonna get higher ranking. The biggest cow, yes. Glintstone Dragon Smaragd. Oh yeah, that's after you do Ronnie's quest line and get to the Moonlight Altar. Again, nothing crazy. More unique movesets. And again, the only reason why I'm putting a Gil above these is because a Gil is the OG who teaches you how to fight the dragons. Oh yeah, Godfrey the Gifted, the knockoff Godfrey who is actually just a Godric reskin. Lazy Zaki. Lazy Zaki. That's all I gotta say about that guy. You do get, I think, Godfrey's icon after beating him, which is interesting. So I don't quite know the mystery around this Godfrey, this weird, feels like a Godric knockoff while stealing Godfrey's name or something. Lazy bosses. Crucible Knight only ranks this low because you just gotta be a parry god with them to have the most luck. You could technically beat them any other way. You could cheese them with arrows like I finally did with the one in Farmazula, but I got nothing from it. He didn't drop any unique spell or anything, so I was like, oh, well, that was a waste. Oh, and then you got Godfrey, the first Elden Lord. It's definitely going in A tier. I summoned Nefeli for this fight because I always summon the NPCs because I'm always like, this is like interesting story implications, you know? And I found that fight to be really fun. Like, Nefeli didn't do huge damage, but she helped keep his attention off me, so I was the one who ended up killing him, of course, but it's just, it's like, ooh, Nefeli Lu, and then Godfrey in second phase turns to Horlo. Or Horlo, I don't know how you pronounce it. So that's interesting insight into her character. But also, he was just like a pretty fun fight, you know? He goes from being like, you know, I'm using this axe in my first phase, you know, and then second phase, warrior. This goes full on sumo wrestler, boxing champion on your butt, you know? So, and it's interesting that Godfrey returns to stop you at that moment. See, yeah, we're getting into some big boys now. Got Godric the Grafted. Oh boy. Well, again, Nefeli helped me out with this guy, as did my jellyfish. You know, he was like the first major boss I fought. And he has a really memorable boss theme. He has a very memorable, like, second phase transition. But he has just so much AoE and just, I don't know, like, I just put him in high B tier just because of how memorable he is. Like, the fight wasn't necessarily fun, but he was at least an interesting character and had, you know, he was memorable, you know what I mean? Ugh. Godskin Apostle. Stretchy boys. Everyone goes on and on and on about their boss theme, and it's like, yeah, boss theme is cool. It's memorable, but I hate these guys. They're gross, and you fight way more of them in this game than you need to if you go out and find all the optional bosses. Yeah, Godric low A or high B, really good early boss. Yeah, for sure. And then Godskin Duo. The only reason why I would rank this not just straight up in the F is because they let you summon an NPC. I could summon Bernal for that, so that helped divvy it up. He focused on the skinny guy, and I killed the big guy, and it was a completely fair fight, you know? Um, so that's my thought on it. Like, everyone is like, the dreaded Godskin duo fight, oh my god, and I was like, oh, either I was OP or the NPC summon really helped. Godskin Noble, rank that piece of crap even lower. Or at least, hmm, I don't know. Definitely a low D, because just fighting that Fatso on his own is just... When I saw that first one, and I was just like, screw this. Alright, Grafted Scion. That's the boss that kills you at the very end of the game. Gonna rank it bottom of D just because it's like, it's meant to kill you, and then when you go on New Game Plus and you fight it again, it's really just not that interesting anyway. Like, it does an interesting, like, Holy Blade buff partway through the fight, but other than that, it's like, eh, whatever. Not a very interesting boss, in my opinion. I mean, the fact that it's a grafted Scion and whole Stormvale Castle graft stuff is interesting. It's like, from a boss perspective, it's just, eh. Grave Warden Duelist. Okay, yeah, I did fight one of these. This is like one of those gladiator dudes with like the hammers, I think. Yeah, not a very unique feeling fight. Like, I know he had like the chained hammers and stuff, so you had to like be wary of moving out of the way of that, but it really wasn't that hard of a fight. You know? Kind of unsure where to put this guy. As you can tell, the D rank is just... It's like full of bosses that either were annoying, or they were reskins, or they just didn't... They may have been interesting fights, but they weren't difficult. Yeah, there's a lot of reskins in some of these. Fat boy way more annoying than stretchy boy. Yeah, that's why Godskin Apostle... And also, like, I found my first experience with Godskin Apostle, the skinny one, which was maybe the first time I ever found a Godskin at all, was in the Caelid Divine Tower. Based on how easy the one was that you find in the Windmill Village, that one is actually seems to be the one you're supposed to find first if you're playing the game in the right order. But I found the one in Caelid first, and I had to summon a human player. So, yeah, it made quite the impression. Kindred of Rot, just another freaking F tier enemy, because they're just annoying. Like, you can dodge through or block their pest threads, but then they usually have spears and has long range, and they're just annoying. They are annoying. Leonine Misbegotten. This was the boss you fight at Castle Morn. I definitely want to put it up in B tier, because that's usually the first, that seems to be like one of the first places you fight a Misbegotten. And I remember there being a note that someone left in the game saying try guard counter, and that was really helpful. Like, that was a good practice for doing waiting till the last attack of a combo and doing a guard counter and whatever. And also you get the badass like Iron Throne inspired sword from this guy. So, you know, he's definitely going to be B tier. Like, he's the first one that you fight of this enemy type. So, of course, he'll rank higher than if we find some reskins later. Found the Caelid one first as well. Sucked balls and took over an hour. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not alone in that. Now, Lich Dragon Fortisax. Oh boy. A unique a unique dragon boss with a very memorable soundtrack that suffered from being an enemy that I probably encountered much later than I was intended to because I one-shotted him. I one-shotted him. So I didn't get to appreciate the fight for very long. But he's in B tier just because he has his own really unique soundtrack that stands apart from so many other soundtracks in this game, which already has a great soundtrack in the first place. And the fact that it's the last thing you do to end Fia's questline as well. So he's gonna be in B at the moment, but he's lower because I one-shotted him, so I didn't get to really appreciate the fight. One-shotted... I don't think I had my greatsword by that point. So I might have had... I don't remember. I don't remember what weapon I had. And I don't remember if I summoned my Mimic Tear or not. But I definitely was over-leveled for him. I definitely was meant to come here earlier in the game. But I had leveled up quite a bit and had done other stuff, so... that's why it was so easy. Oh, the Lion Guardians. These guys. Definitely annoying with how much they jump around. Interesting design, but really annoying. So... I don't know, I feel like I would put it somewhere... can I rank it above Godskin Apostle? I don't know. Maybe... I think I'll move Bell-Bearing Hunter down just because it's a reskin of Elemer of the Briar. But above Grafted Scion, maybe. Put Fia's Champ... well, no, Fia's Champion goes above these two just because it was that was a really interesting fight. Fighting these multiple, like, individual NPCs that get summoned to fight for her. Alright. Next. Oh! I heard a ding! I heard someone did a thing! Yay! You followed me, mediocre sidekick. Awesome. That's cool. That means my sound alert thingies that I put in my OBS actually work. I'm not able to hear that when I'm playing like on my consoles because I'm listening to the game. Like I have my headset plugged in my controller, not my computer, so I play on PlayStation 5. Loretta, Knight of the Halo Tree. Really cool fight. Yes, it's basically the case of it's on tip of my tongue from Sekiro. Corrupted Monk. It's a Corrupted Monk situation. First you fight a spirit version, or in this case it's probably like a summoned magic version as a defense of Caria Manor. And then you fight her for real when you get to the Halid Tree before you enter the city in the Halid Tree. So, having a PS5, well, someone's running. I mean, to be fair, I don't think it cost any more than the PS4 did, and I got it directly from PlayStation. Because I think I put myself like on a waiting list, and then they sent me an email when they went on sale, when they were back on sale. And by ordering directly from PlayStation's website, like, there was free shipping, and it was really, really fast shipping. It came within like 3 business days, so it's worth it to be checking in on those things if you still don't have a PS5. So Loretta, Knight of the Halig Tree, I definitely want to put high ranked just because she's an interesting enemy from a lore perspective. Like, she was a Carrion Knight who then left to serve Melania and Mikola. And yeah, just like this magician warrior on a horse, just pretty cool, you know. And again, Erdtree Avatar is just ranking a bit higher because they were fun to fight, you know. Though they were predictable, just they left an impression on me. I was always like, not like, oh god, one of these. I was like, alright, bring it on. Mad Pumpkinhead. Ah, yes. Mad Pumpkinhead. Not a crazy fight. Probably will put over Grave Warden Duelist just because how can you not forget this, you know? But very simple. Who you reckon Rory's gonna have most trouble with, not including Melania? My god. I do think you'll have an issue with Godric. Because Godric's just a crazy whirlwind of crazy. I don't know. Alright, we all know where Mimic Tier's going. S tier. Because you're fighting you, and it's a glimpse into what you can find later in the game. Like, later you can... it's not easy to find, but you can get the Mimic Tier summon, and it's just like... I don't care if this is my one joke S tier ranking here. But I just think it deserves special recognition. Miranda, the Blighted Bloom. I never found this boss, but I have been watching Gap Smolder's Let's Play, so I saw her find the cave that this boss was in, and it's just a giant plant. It's just one of those poison plants, except it's a boss. Oh yeah, look, here we have Moog the Omen, the one you fight if you go to the bottom of the Shunning Grounds. And you can get the blood slash, incantation from beating him. So it's kind of like the case of like what Godfrey does, what Morgott does with Margit, you know, having like this kind of other version of themselves. To try to stop you from something. The shitty lord. Yeah, so Moog the Omen. I one-shotted this guy as well. And I know that he's like kind of like, ooh, a little taste of what's to come if you find Moog himself later. So not anything crazy, you know? But your first taste of that fight. And I forget what it is. Is he the one who is guarding the entrance to the Flame of Frenzy area? I don't remember. There's a lot of different bits to that whole sewer shunning ground area. Here we are. Moog. Lord of Blood is next. Tres, dos, unos, nihil. Like, the amount of times you have to hear him scream that, then you're like, oh wait, I picked up a tear from my flask a million years ago. It said something about the Blood of Lord's curse, which definitely helped. For me, he was like a pain in the butt. I had to summon my Mimic Tier for this guy, and we had to like make sure we had a lot of bleed on ourselves. I mean, on our weapons. because he was weak to it. And my winning round was we were able to kill me and my Mimic Tier killed him before he even entered phase 2. We killed him while he was screaming knee heel in my frickin' headset. So he's definitely high ranking for me because he is a very memorable boss with a very memorable soundtrack, and the fact that, you know, he stole Mikola and everything and wanted to become a lord by trying to make Mikola attain godhood, because Mikola is technically just a demigod. It's really interesting. But then he wanted to create his own dynasty. I think there's rumors that this entity called Mogwin might be an outer god that's influenced him or something. It was an annoying fight because of the second phase, so trying to like shorten the fight as much as possible before you got the second phase was like, I absolutely had to do everything in my power to try to stop him from getting the second phase. Why Mimic Tier up there? It's Mimic Tier. It's Mimic Tier. Why wouldn't Mimic Tier be an S tier? But yeah, I mean, Moog is cool, and I smell like Mikola DLC in the future, honestly. You disappoint me. It's not S tier. Moog for me is high S. Beating him solo with a great sword was so satisfying. I had a great sword as well, but I could not beat him solo. I was determined to beat both Moog and Melania before I defeated the fire giant, so I probably was really making it harder for myself. Like maybe I wasn't high enough level or something. Next we got Magma Worm. Nothing crazy. If you see one, you've seen them all, unfortunately. You know, another another one where you found Moog easy, Crimson Dice. Big bunk, best build. Yeah, Magma Worm is not a really unique one. Like once you see one, you've seen them all, and just you know what's funny? I'm almost tempted to rank Esgar, Priest of Blood, lower in this tier just because I really don't remember his fight, but I do know that I killed him. I don't know. Some of these bosses are ranking a little bit higher in their respective tier for like memorability or their design or something, but Magma Worm, I don't know. Nothing crazy about that. Oh, here we are. Melania, play the Mikola. Okay. Oh man, you don't know how hard it is for me not to want to rank her super low because of her healing and her water, uh, waterfowl, um, waterfowl dance. Like, oh my god. She was an amazing boss. Like, in theory, great design. You know, great design, cool music, awesome backstory, lore, but just the absolute worst thing to fight. She took me so long. And I had to put... my greatsword was at plus 25. Put Cragblade on it so that I could try to get critical hits more often. And when I put bleed on it using the whetstone, my greatsword had 121 blood loss on it. And I summoned my Mimic Tier, because I started off not using Mimic Tier at all. And then as I decided, screw it, I'm going to use my Mimic Tier. Like, I tried using Bloodhound's Fang, I tried using Bloody Uchigatana. You know, I tried all these different techniques. And then I decided just to like fight her with the weapon I had, but just tweak my weapon with Ashes of War and stuff. It's a hard boss, but not a good boss. See, the reason why I'm so tempted to rank her lower, like, in this whole thing, is because she's awesome. But man, did From Software totally screw it over by having her be such an unforgiving, cheap-ass boss at times. Like, there's a ton of moves that you can safely dodge. Some moves you can avoid. But you can't use a shield because, sure, the shield will stop you from getting hurt, but she'll still heal herself. So then it just becomes a battle of attrition. Then you want to pray to the gods that she does not use Waterfowl Dance, and you're even more screwed if you are close up to her and she decides randomly to use her Waterfowl Dance, and it's like, it's gone, it's dead, fight's over, you know? So although I'd be so tempted to rank her lower, I feel like I at the very least have to have her in the C tier just because she is cool, but man, she got screwed over. I want to love this boss. But her fight itself, like, she just suffered from like really crappy mechanics. And I feel so bad that I want to rank her so low because she's so cool. You know? It's sad. I don't want to put her, like, I would have wanted to put her maybe even lower just because of like how frustrating this boss was, but it's like I can't put her higher because it was so painful to fight her. Anyway, so I feel bad for Melania, both as a character and also as a boss, because it's like she could have been just so much more enjoyable to fight. Blame Miyazaki for that. I blame Lazy Zaki for that one. Okay. Oh, Malekith, the Black Blade. This boss is cool. But again, I ended up having to use my Mimic tier just because there were certain moves where it's like, really? If I make one mistake, I'm basically dead. Get my health lowered and everything. I know there was an item I could use in that fight, but by then it was too late. I had forgotten I wasn't going to be mashing down on my D-pad to try to pull it up. But this boss, like, was pretty awesome because they were very clever with man, I don't even know. Oh, and this is fitting. I think Faru Missoula's soundtrack is playing now. Like, I want to rank him higher just because of the fact that I kept seeing in the soundtrack that there was a track called Beast Clergyman. And I'm like, when did this music pop up? Did I fight Garank when he goes crazy after you give him X number of death root? And I just never noticed the music. So I was like, okay, well, whatever, I'll just move on. And then I got to the boss fight where you enter the fog gate and it's a beast clergyman. And I'm like, what? I thought there was a boss named Malekith in this area. This looks like the arena that I've seen screenshots of. What? You know? And then you get to phase 2 and it's revealed to be Malekith, and I'm like, well played, Miyazaki. Well played. You completely stumped me. You subverted my expectations. I was so confused. And then that happened, and I was like, oh. So he was annoying to fight, but I'm ranking him high just because of that, like, shock factor and, like, making you think one thing, and then it turns out to be, you know, Malekith. And that was another fight that I had to use my Mimic tier on because I don't have Twitch reflexes. Whatever. Ah, Margit to the fell omen. Foul tarnished. Put these foolish ambitions to rest. Put these foolish ambitions to rest. Put these foolish ambitions to fucking rest. You know, you're gonna be hearing that line a lot because he's the boss who teaches you, hey, you know, like here's the game mechanics. So, although I'd be very tempted to rank him lower just because of how he felt like a wall, I of course realized, oh wait, the game's telling me, hey, you still got this whole other area of the map you can go explore and level up in. Why don't you go do that first, you know? Well, New Game Plus, of course, which I started last night, I was able to just run straight to him and kill him on my first try. Um, yeah. I'll at least put him in high mid B tier for now. Because, like, I wasn't, like, wowed by his boss fight, you know? And I didn't feel like, oh, I'm having tons of, like, I wasn't wowed by his boss fight like I was with Placid Sax. I wasn't like, oh, I'm having fun like I did with Godfrey. Like, he was just like a nice little kind of, you know, a little skill check. Now we got Morgott, the Omen King, aka Margit's true identity. Same general move sets except for a ton of added abilities. And it's his true form. Like Margit is an alias. And you can actually fight Margit or Morgott like another time if you go to certain... If you're in the Altus Plateau near the capital at night. I ended up stumbling into that. He wasn't even a boss, he was just a normal enemy. But he gets summoned like in a golden like beam of light and you hear his voice and he's just like, you know, where do you think you're going? I absolutely love his voice. I love what the voice actor did with his intonation, with his delivery lines. Like when you fight Morgott and he's listing off all the demigod children. I just love how he says certain names. General Radon, Praetor Rykard. Like, so good. And there's also tons of disdain in his voice when he says those names because he's just like, screw them all. They are messing with shit, doing their own thing. I need to hold on to order or whatever. So, another reason why they're in B, he's in B tier, because just I like his voice. Knights Cavalry. A boss you can find many different iterations of because it's the cavalry. There's tons of different members of the cavalry. And I think I found all of them. But they weren't all that, like, crazy. Like, I don't know, just like nothing ridiculous, you know. The lore implications of the Knights Cavalry is interesting though, but I don't know. But again, just it feels like it's a boss fight that, while interesting in the moment, it's like, I don't know, nothing to write home about almost. You get cool weapons from them if that's your build, but otherwise, kind of a repeated boss. Alright, got some chat. Yeah, she's great, but they just made her really hard that I lost interest to reattempt her. Yeah, see, that's unfortunate. I don't want anyone to feel like they are turned away from that boss. Nox Duo. Another just meh kind of boss fight. Like, you fight these guys as just normal enemies. And I think I tackled the Celia Town of Sorcery later on. So I had already encountered some of these guys already, like in Noxtella. So I wasn't really impressed. You know, just meh, but not so bad that they're gonna be an F tier. Like they're not frustrating like Crucible Knight, you know. Omen Killer, aka the Capra Demon 2.0. If you're like me, the first Omen Killer you fight ends up having a dog or two, so it's like, oh god, Capra Demon, but not in a narrow little thing, you know. This also just seemed like, not a crazy enemy. You only fight it as a boss like maybe once. Otherwise, they're just normal enemies that you find very rarely. Oh, chat. I get that. I feel like soloing her now that I know a bunch of her moves is super epic. First hour or so is bullshit though. Yeah. For sure. Oh, patches. S tier. Patches. Yeah, you'll get there. Shield up, so to speak. Shield doesn't really help. I mean, it can protect you, but it'll heal her, but you know what I mean. So, patches. Like, I almost want to be trolly and rank him up really high just because he's freaking patches, you know? He's so funny. Like, yeah, he's super easy and whatever, but if you let him live, then you get to do his quest line and you get to see more of him, and it's just so fun. Like, I can't hate Patches. I have to put him in S tier. I just really love that character. I love seeing him in every FromSoft game, except for, you know, he's not in Sekiro, understandably, but I don't know. I can't hate him. Currently going Ultra Weep Bleed build with pants and hat. Oh god. Crazy. You madman. Onyx Lord. Oh yeah, these gravity using dudes. Like, again, just not extremely memorable, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. This D section is getting really cluttered and I feel like I need to reorganize some of this, but yeah, I don't know. They're just... I don't really know what to say about Onyx Lords. Perfumer Trisha. I don't remember if I fought them. But I could, at the very least, I could put for this enemy on here because I fought perfumers. Like, just, again, not a really interesting enemy. Oh, Putrid Tree Spirit. Well, we know where that's going. Right down here. F tier. When I thought about doing this, I was like, Crystalians and the Tree Spirits are going straight to the bottom of F tier. Just... why not, you know? That's the only place they belong. Oh. We are getting close to the end now. Now we have Radigan of the Golden Order. I definitely want to put Radigan up here. Because Radigan, like, it took me 3 different days to fight him. But every time I died, I was only blaming myself. He felt like an extremely fair fight, especially by Dark Souls standards. Felt lots of readable moves, you could dodge through a lot of them. You know, felt completely fair, so if I died, it was my fault and it wasn't the boss. Not like Melania, where that's all on her, you know? So after having just beaten Radigan recently, it's like, yeah, he definitely needs to be up here because he's a fair fight, you know? Very readable, great boss music because it's the theme song, you know? The cutscene beforehand where you see Marika and all that, it's just so cool. So he's definitely up there. Alright. Next is Red Wolf of Radigan. Basically a Sif 2.0, but somehow more annoying because there's magic. But not a really hard fight necessarily, you know? And then you fight reskins of it at several different locations, so it makes it seem less special. Why you put Patches in S tier? She's working for Michael Sage! But yeah, I'm putting Red Wolf up here just because, you know, you get reskin, you get it popping up again and just not as memorable as Sif. Sif would always be really high rank if I was doing a Dark Souls tier list, but Red Wolf is like, I mean, it's interesting it's Red Wolf of Radigan, so maybe Radigan had a pet and Renala decided to keep it after Radigan left her. Rykard, Lord of Blasphemy, the gimmick boss of Elden Ring. With a very memorable voice, you know, like... I feel like I should at the very least put him somewhere in A tier just because, like... I mean, it's a gimmick boss, there's always going to be one of those. And... you know, just very memorable. Not necessarily a hard boss. The hardest part was, like, there's a part of me that wonders if I got to Rykard too early. Just because I remember dying a lot to him, even when I used my Mimic tier. And I've seen other people play using, you know, just, like some people have fought him and they have, you know, like a magic build or something, but they still go and put on the Serpent Hunter spear. And they killed him way faster than I did, so I think it was maybe a matter of what level I was at. But he was memorable. But a gimmick boss, that's the thing. Scaly Misbegotten, just another kind of like, it's a normal enemy, like, that you find then throughout the whole game, so nothing crazy. Ah, Sir Gideon Offmere. You all know him. He was not necessarily hard, like, he was easy to kill. Like, he took a lot of damage, but the issue is that he's the unknown. He's taken all these skills and spells from other bosses, so if he wants to fling magic at you, he's gonna do it, and I hate magicians. I hate fighting sorcerers in Elden Ring as a melee build. Its magic is so OP. So that's the only reason why it took me a few tries, is because it's like, I'm just gonna spam all this magic at you, you know? But it was interesting to fight him, you know? Like, I'm putting up him in B tier just because it's like, we're fighting him, he wants to stop us from doing this, he wants things to keep going the way they are because he believes that the Tarnished are meant to continue their struggle. That's the gist I got out of it. And then he's the one who's interested in, like, oh, here's where all the demigods are, here's where all the shard bearers are, and he pays you for information on some of them. so he's a really interesting character. Kind of a pushover, but he used magic, so it's, you know, whatever. Soldier of Godric, the tutorial fight. So nothing much to say about that. Just as like, here's how you can. Oh god, my roommate is deciding to vacuum right now, so I really hope that. Oh yeah, he's a gimmick boss done well, not like Yorm from DS3. I still haven't gotten to Yorm yet in my Dark Souls 3 playthrough, and that's honestly what I want to do on my Twitch channel. After this, I want to try to finish Dark Souls 1, because I just have Manus and Gwyn to beat, and I want to finish Dark Souls 2, and I want to finish Dark Souls 3, so I'd be loading up the playthrough that I got the furthest in. And maybe do that on stream, like, and try to beat those, because those are the only games I haven't beaten yet. I've done Bloodborne, Sekiro, and Elden Ring. So, Spirit Collar Snail. Yeah, very, very fun little trick boss. Nothing complicated, but the fact that it's like he summons a Crucible Knight, and you're just like, what? And then it turns out, oh, there's a little invisible snail lurking about, you know. But just kind of a fun thing. Like, definitely felt more memorable than like some of these other things. I don't know. I just thought it was cute. If you put patches on S, you should put Soldier of Godric on S too. Come on, I have some integrity. Oh, Regal Ancestor Spirit. I wanna put in S tier, but it was annoying when it was healing, you know, because it just. I loved the boss design. I loved the boss music. It wasn't a hard boss, but it's going in S tier because it's one of my personal favorites. Just hands down. I love it. There were some annoying, like the healing stuff was a bit annoying for the Regal Ancestor Spirit, because I think there was Ancestor Spirit and Regal Ancestor Spirit. And Regal Ancestor Spirit was the one with healing, but I'm so sorry, my roommate is vacuuming. I hope you can't hear that. But I'm putting Regal Ancestor Spirit in S tier for my own personal tastes. It is beautiful. I actually didn't want to kill it because it's so gorgeous. Now we got Renala, Queen of the Full Moon. She is gonna rank low for me, because while her boss fight was really interesting, and it started off as kind of a puzzle boss at first, as a melee, her second phase was so annoying. Like, I can't stand magic fighting sorcerers in that game. I wish I could rank her higher, but ugh, screw sorcerers. As enemies. Screw them as enemies. I hated fighting sorcerers as enemies. Yeah, Big Moose music is the best. Yes, it is. I'm putting her below Melania, because at least Melania was like really, like, they're both cool. Or I don't know. They're both annoying for different reasons. Melania's annoying because she felt unfair at times. Renala's annoying because magic. But I really love the transition into the second phase where Ronnie like kind of makes us fight Renala as like an illusion or something. And Royal Knight Loretta is the version of Loretta that you fight at the Carrion Manor. I kind of want to rank her lower just because I I call her a reskin, even though she's what you fight before you even find the Halid Tree, the real version of Loretta. You know what I mean? Like... Like, she was a boss that I had to come back to later after I had explored and leveled up more. And then I was able to get to the Three Sisters area and start properly Ronnie's questline. Oh, Royal Revenant, we all know where these are going. Below Crystallians. Screw those. I'd never beat that one because I'm just like, screw it. Revenants can just go straight to the bottom of F tier. In the trash. Now, Rune Bear. I never fought the boss version, but... I hate the bears. They're so annoying. So annoying. That's all I got to say about that. Stone Digger Troll. Very easy fight. Nothing crazy. Probably would still put... I don't know. Nothing crazy. And yes, as you can see, I'm saving Radon for later. Tibia Mariner. You fight several of them, you get death root from them. Not a hard boss at all. Some of them have a bit more teleporting, some have a bit more summons, but they're really easy. So nothing crazy. I would say they're more memorable than some of these others. Like, I don't know. I'll put them between Pumpkinhead and Spirit Collar Snail just because they're unique. And like Pumpkinhead, that's fun, you know. I mean, it's not really, well, eh. I don't know. Nothing crazy. Tree Sentinel. Definitely want to put in B tier because of just how memorable they are and how it's like, you know, it's gonna kick your butt, you know. Put the two horsey enemies next to each other. That's another one where it's like, hey, maybe you should go explore some more and level up. Oh, Valiant Gargoyles. Screw that. Actually, I'll put... Oh god, where in the F tier do I want to put this? Below Crucible Knight or above Crucible Knight? So I tried to summon actual human players, other slugs, for this, and one time I summoned someone and the gargoyle was all the way at the top of the cliff and he was stuck there and the boss music was going and he was pacing back and forth and we couldn't reach him. So I ended up just bloody slashing myself to death to end the fight. And then the way that I beat this was I accidentally got one of them to throw themselves off the side of the waterfall. So that helped, but yeah, screw those guys. Yeah, gargoyles suck. Worm face. Not an F tier in terms of like just, oh, screw this boss. It's just like, meh, whatever. F tier just has its special place. F tier is its own special category for me right now. This is like, I don't know. I mean, meh. Yeah, it can go in F tier. Abdicator, Virgins. I never fought this boss, but yeah, screw those. They cannot go below like ulcerated tree spirits, crystallians, and revenants. They can't. But they're definitely in there. cannot imagine fighting that two of them as a boss. That would just suck. I'm glad I never found that. Adon, Thief of Fire. A unique Everjail. Very annoying because his fire magic was just really, really powerful. You know? Like... And his flail had a ton of bleed on it. Like, I don't know. It was just somewhere in D rank. Seems annoying. Oh, and then Alabaster Lord. That's the Onyx Lord, but beefier. So, just above that. Again, nothing very crazy. Electo Black Knife Ringleader. That's like the souped up version of Black Knife Assassins, so they'll go together, but that one will be above. I remember fighting that at the Everjail. Ancestor Spirit is the first one you fight for Regal Ancestor Spirit, so but in A tier at least. That made such an impression on me. Ancient Hero of Zamor was also a very interesting, a unique boss fight. So I feel like I have to put it in B tier because you don't find them as normal enemies until you get to the mountains, so this is kind of the only one you really get to see. So, you know, pretty cool. Oh, Estelle, Natural Born of the Void, F tier. Okay. I have conflicted feelings on this boss. Because Estelle is very unique. Has a really unique design and boss music and everything. But it's so annoying to fight. You know? So annoying. Especially because, again, it suffers as being like a large enemy where you're forced to not use lock-on. And if you're trying to be in the safe spot or try to only hit the head as a melee user, you then can't see when other attacks are coming in. So that's why I'm putting Estelle next to Renala and Melania, but at the bottom because just I had to summon a human player for that. Estelle, Stars of Darkness, the one you probably were supposed to find before you ever found Estelle. So definitely one of those reskin issues. But I killed it on my first try because I was OP by then for this. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly where to put that. Alright, now the big one. Star Scourge Radon. Yeah, Estelle was cool, but as a melee dude, it wasn't that nice. Exactly, that's how I feel. Now Radon, amazing music, amazing concept, just amazing design. I wore his helmet and his boots and his gauntlets for then my entire playthrough. Music is just my favorite track in the whole game. I love the concept of summoning all these NPCs, like see Alexander and Blythe go in and just... He is my favorite boss in the entire game. Just is. Like, I can't wait to fight him again on New Game Plus. He is my favorite. Hands down. One of the most memorable From Software fights, like, ever. Just because it's like, it felt like you were going into like a raid, you know, with all these other characters and such. It's just so cool. I just love his music so much, and I love his lore and how he used gravity magic to help not put so much, you know, weight on his loyal horse Leonard, and he wanted to, this whole festival is so he can die an honorable death while he's going mad from Scarlet Rot and everything, and just mad props to this guy. This is such a cool character. Like, so cool. Love it. Love it so much. He just loved his horse. The ultimate Chad. Yeah. Now, yeah, I do not remember Battle Mage Hughes because I never found his ever jail. So just for the sake of being able to put him somewhere, I'm just gonna put him at the bottom of D. Because I don't think I ever fought him. But he's not F tier because F tier is just a special place in hell for like Wormface and Fell Twins. Not hard, but just like, you know, and that's just a plant. Like, I know I could put that, some of these I can move into the D tier, but they're even less memorable. Like, some of these in F tier are like either annoying, just reviled, or they are just so unmemorable. Or like I wasn't sure what the game designers were going for, making them a boss. Like, so I'm just trying to decide if I should move around anyone. Because there's a lot of ones, like, because I feel kind of bad lumping all the dragons together when in reality, like, just one dragon's enough. I kind of like move some of these down just because they're just reskins, you know? Not sure. I might move full-grown Falling Star Beast above Dragonkin Soldier of Noxtella just because of how unique this boss music is. And this boss in general is just unlike anything in the game. So, yep. Some bosses I wanted to rank higher. And others, I'm just not sure where to put them because they were either so forgettable, you know? But yeah, I mean, because then without a doubt, like, the Abductors, Putrid or Ulcerated Tree Spirits, Crystallians, and Royal Revenants, those all have to be in the very end. Oh, and speak of the devil, the boss battle music for the Falling Star Beast is playing in the background now. So unique. So, yeah, that's gonna be my, I think that's gonna be my tier list for now. What do you guys think? I know some of you have hot takes about some of my S tier choices, but yes. You would put Moog and Melania in S tier. See, that's the thing. I want to rank Melania higher, but she just has the worst game mechanics. It's the only reason. It's literally the only reason why I can't rank her higher. But I mean, A tier is definitely like has bosses that are just, yeah, like for example, the only reason why I don't put Elden Beast or Godric or Margit higher is because of like certain mechanics, or like how Elden Beast is just so gigantic that you can sometimes have a hard time reading what it's doing. Like, Elden Beast only suffers from just its size and the camera in the game and all that. Even if you don't lock on, you can still have issues. So there's tons of bosses here that I absolutely respect. But it's a tough choice to make. You get why people don't rank her high, yeah. Yeah, so can't think of too many things to change at this very moment. This is just me in the moment making my gut reaction. I mean, I guess Beast of Farmzilla could be moved. Yeah, let's move Beast. The only reason why I put it up there in the first place is because I was like, it was one of the first ones that you find like that. But in hindsight, it's like, it's just kind of like all these things. Ends up just being a normal enemy. But then like the Bloodhound Knight, the Ancient Hero of Zamor, like oh no. Okay, that was weird. I got a message that OBS Studio is disconnected, but I don't think that actually happened. Anyway, I'm gonna stop it here. I have been streaming for almost 2 hours. So I will put information in my Twitter and maybe in the RPG Discord about when I may do other streams. So thanks for everyone who attended. I'm getting some issues on my phone, so I'm gonna stop now before I like end up losing anything. But it's been almost 2 hours, so I should probably take a break, relax, and I will hopefully see you guys next time with finishing up Dark Souls 1. Dust off my file there and see if I can beat Manus and Gwyn. So